I got the food on the stove, well, in the rice cooker. So here I already have the resin in the container. It's about 1.5 cups. I'm about to add the other 1.5 cup to make 3 cups. Hopefully that's enough to cover this 24 by 30. So I also have a little bit left over just to fill in some gaps if I have to. I'm gonna be using a heat gun, which is a little beat up at the moment because I kept dropping it on the tarp, so has a little bit of the bag or plastic from the tarp on it. So I have to remember to set that somewhere safe so that it doesn't burn through anything. So I have some gold paint pre-mixed that came from a fluid art pour. So let me go ahead and get this resin going because that takes about 3 to 5 minutes to mix. So all I have to do now is just fill the hardener up until it says 3 cups, meaning that the resin is already in there. And for whatever reason, I always have more hardener left than resin. So I think my past mixes were a bit off, but they still set well, and I didn't have any issue with that. So I kind of figured that out, and I've been using the correct amount or 1-to-1 ratio ever since, which is why I'm pretty much out of both now. So too little, too late, maybe, or no. So I'm gonna sit that to the side. I'm gonna turn it upside down because I like to get all of my money's worth, you understand? So I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this for y'all. I was able to find this big measuring cup from Dollar Tree, believe it or not. And I've been looking for a plastic or silicone type giant mixing cup. Aside from the ones that I see on Amazon, usually if you don't get the ones off of Amazon with an epoxy kit, then it'll cost a bit more. So I would advise you guys to wear gloves. I don't have gloves on because they're in my car and I don't want to go to my car to get them, even though I probably should. And the little plastic ones that I do have up here that came with the epoxy resin, they tear way too easily. And y'all, I forgot I was supposed to actually set a 5-minute timer to make sure I mix for 5 minutes. Really, it's 3 to 5. I like to go above and beyond if I'm only using clear resin. But since I'm gonna be using color pigments, I mix it at least for a minute or two first. And then by the time I mix the pigments in separate cups, I'm already to that 5-minute mark, and anything else is just over mixing. So usually I don't have any issues. Like I said, it has been setting correctly. I had one issue a while back with a major, what do you call it, commission. It got there and it got to the owner and it was completely useless, and that kind of like broke my heart. So now I overmix. And even then I wasn't using like art epoxy. I was using the instant epoxy from Home Depot. So I find that the actual epoxy that you buy either from the store or offline, the ones that you have to mix yourself 1-to-1, they come out perfectly. The other one was industrial strength, and sometime in between the transport to the time that it got to the owner, it just became a melted resin mess. So she understood, and it ended up being sent or left at Goodwill or something like that, but that's fine. So at least maybe if someone can't save it, they could at least use the canvas, because those canvases are expensive as hell. So yeah, so the mix is basically done, even though like I said it probably hasn't been 5 minutes. What I do and what I've learned, each epoxy will be different, but the two that I've been using, Both came from Amazon, and I noticed that you don't really have to mix them the whole 5 minutes. You'll pretty much be able to tell by looking at the resin. As you can see, when I started, it looked like a foggy type gel. And then as I continued to mix, it became clear again. So that's what I look for to make sure that the mixture is correct. So what I'm going to do now is sit this off to the side. So I'm gonna grab my other stool because this costs way too much money to be spilling. And like I said, hopefully this one is better than the one that I normally use. And I'll show you that one, because right now I just have brushes sitting in it. So this is the plastic one, also from Dollar Tree, that I normally use, just a regular Betty Crocker measuring container. But I find that the plastic one will probably be better because it holds more. So I don't have to worry about mixing 2 cups at a time, when this one will actually hold up to 4 cups. So this should be 3 cups, maybe just a little bit over, because the resin calculator said I only needed 21 ounces, but I always mix a little bit more. So this is 24. I use the jumbo popsicle stick for the resin because, as you know, it's kind of like thick to mix. And then for my smaller mixes, I use the mini popsicle sticks, which probably will suck because usually I use the little dentist cups that's about like the size of a shot glass. But today I'm gonna be trying something different because I'm using a bunch of different colors, and I'm probably gonna be mixing a bunch of different colors. So the pigments I should probably drop in the cup away from the canvas because they tend to get everywhere. So I don't have much space now, but for the sake of allowing y'all to see how I do this, this one is gonna have pinks, greens, and different shades of black or dark brown. I don't know, we'll see. I'll tell y'all the colors as I do it. So right now I'm using a green chameleon powder. Take that back, that's going in the black. I'm using a fuchsia chameleon powder. All this is iridescent powder that changes color in the light. So, and this one is really messy. So I'm gonna mix that in with the pink that I assume is berry. And I'm also gonna add cherry to that mixture just to make it stand out a bit more, because I feel like it might fade out on this dark black canvas. I'm trying to do this relatively quick because the videos be long as hell and I don't move fast. So I'm just gonna sit that there. Now I can go in with the green chameleon powder because it shines red, green, and a bunch of other colors in the light. I'll show you the cap so you can kind of like, I don't know if that shows up on camera, see. I'm only gonna put a little bit in there, maybe another scoop because I really like the way that it looks. So I normally, even though it's green, I normally mix that with the black because it's not a pure green, if that makes sense. So let me see, that's graphite. I'm gonna grab the black pearl. The black pearl also has like a dark green tinge to it, which is why I like it. And I'm just hoping that it really bounces off of the black background. And for the sake of mixing and matching, I'm also gonna add graphite to the black pearl and to the chameleon green. It's actually just green, but it's a chameleon powder, so I just call it chameleon green. Okay, so off to the side in a different cup, I'm gonna mix in some what's considered to be light brown. Is not that light to me, so I'm gonna put 2 mini popsicle sticks of that in there, just a tip. Yes, just a tip. Also gonna take what's considered to be silver in this pack. I got these pigments off of Amazon too. They came in a box. I don't remember the seller because the box was kind of beat up when it got here. It looked like the delivery driver just threw my package on the ground and kicked it a few times. Thanks, Amazon. I appreciate y'all for that. And I already put in my little grievance online for that. I'm gonna add winter to that silver because, like I said, it's not pure silver. Shows up on my hand and my skin as silver, but when you mix it, it almost looks like a pearl white. And the pearl white just looks like a cream white, which is weird how they named these. So I'm gonna drop winter in with the silver mix, and because I'm extra, I wanted to try this green out, which is, and these are what the packages look like, y'all. I'm sorry, I could show y'all that at least. I don't know which end the camera is on, but this is pistachio green. I'm gonna try that as well. I'll go 2 big scoops of that. And I'll say big scoops, but once you start mixing it, it kind of becomes transparent, which is why I did a black base coat on the canvas. Now, what I'm also going to do, I can actually show y'all the little dentist cups that I spoke about earlier, because I normally put some clear resin in that. And use that to kind of like stick the crushed glass down. And then after that, it won't be, hopefully it won't be any more talking after that, and I can just get along or get on with the painting process. So like I said, that mica powder is really messy. So I'm gonna move this over and I'm gonna pour some clear resin into this small dentist cup that I told y'all about. That way, if any spills on the canvas, it'll be fine, because I use that to stick the crushed glass down. So, oops. I'm just gonna alternate the resin and colors. I'm gonna try to get it as even as I can, the amounts. I'm gonna try to make them even as possible. And if y'all don't like messy things, resin will not be for you because it's hella messy. And what I do is whatever resin that's left over from the initial pour, I go back in if I'm short on colors, or if I don't get the coverage that I want, or if I just want to add some clear to the canvas. I use whatever's left in the container, which probably won't be any, and I'll probably end up mixing more to make sure that this canvas is covered. Okay, you guys, so I'm probably gonna have to mix more resin like I figured. So that's just that. That's gonna have to happen. Mainly because my canvas is never leveled. Almost never. And again, because like I told you, resin can only go where resin has been. So if the resin hasn't been there, when you heat it up, it won't move there. And the thing about the heat gun, it does help you spread the resin around, but it'll also cause the resin to start to set before you get everything done that you need to have done. So that's why I'm trying to work faster and talk less. But I also, like I said, can use the popsicle stick to spread out the resin in the areas that has no resin. And the heat gun should level it out. Should. So what I'm probably going to start doing for my bigger pieces is doing a flood coat first, and then adding the resin. Okay, y'all, this is the finished result. Not gonna lie, she was messy and I got resin everywhere. My fingers are literally stuck together. So, but that's it. That's the final countdown. I wish y'all could really see that sparkle without a filter the way that I see it in person. But I need to replace one of these light bulbs, so up at an angle. There it is. There it is. Look at the detail. And I rarely ever even like the darker colors, but this one's slick fire. Let me bag up so y'all get the full gist of the situation.